first of all, how do you approach this game tomorrow night, given what's at stake and the fact that you are trailing going into the second leg?
Well, I guess the whole reason I'm trying to sort of build a way of playing for this football club, and sort of my beliefs is that we don't have to change our approach, because what we know is we need goals, and that's what we do every week. So I think it would be a bigger challenge for us if we had to sort of change our approach and become more expansive or more aggressive. I don't think anyone could accuse us of not being that on a weekly basis. So from that perspective, it doesn't really change anything for us. We just got to go out there and do what we try and do every week when we play, and that is be aggressive, dominate the game, create chances and score goals. And so our approach will be exactly the same.
Hi, Ange. You mentioned needing goals. Obviously, Giacomakis didn't start against Bodø Glimt last week, and he bagged that hat-trick at the weekend. Will you be looking to use that confidence and sharpness that he exuded against Dundee at the weekend?
Again, that's not our approach. Our approach has always been that we get goals from multiple avenues. Yeah, I mean, Jacko scored 3 goals, but over the last sort of, well, the whole season, our goals have been shared around, and that's going to be the key tomorrow. It's not about just one person. I think the reason we score so many goals is that we got multiple avenues of goal threat, and that'll be our approach again tomorrow, because that's our approach every week.
Hi, Ange. How much better prepared will your team be this week, given they've already played Bodø once?
Yeah, look, I don't think we were not prepared, but obviously, when you're sort of playing in the Premiership every week, there's less of a variance in terms of how opposition's set up. So it wasn't that we weren't prepared last week, but we kind of understand that the challenge before us. As you said, we've already faced them once. They've faced us once, so they probably have a better idea of sort of how to counteract us as well. But ultimately, you're coming down to a cup game, a game where you know that the result will be decided after 90 minutes or 120 minutes or penalties, whatever it may be. So, as I said, from our perspective, nothing really changes. We go into the game trying to play our football as we have in every other game this year, and hoping that'll be enough to get the task done.
Hi, Ange. Obviously, saying there the approach is going to be the same. You always play attacking football, but what needs to change from last week's performance? Is it just being a bit more solid defensively and being more clinical in front of goal? Is that all that needs to change to come away here with the victory you require?
No, because that would be changing, which is what you said we don't do. So, look, the perfect game plan only exists in a mythical land well beyond my comprehension. So we'll play our football. We played our football the other night. Yeah, you're right. They were more clinical than us, absolutely. But we've been pretty clinical this year in terms of scoring goals. So, as I said after the game, we weren't as efficient or as clinical in our front third with the chances we had. They were. So obviously, if that changes, we're in better shape. But we don't need to be more solid defensively. If they had 20 chances and Joe made 15 saves and they hit the crossbar, I'd be saying we've got some issues defensively. So, and that's, like I said, that's what we keep focusing on. That's what I focus on anyway. I look at the performance, I look at the way we play, and, they were, like I said, they were a lot more clinical with their, fewer attempts on goal than we were. So obviously we need to improve that, but it's not something that's been ongoing, so it's not an issue. Our approach has to be the same. We just go out there and play our football. With no buts in it at all.
Hi, Ange. Bodo, they've not played much competitive football and they've had another week's rest before this game. Do you think that fitness will play a part for either side in this game, either negative or positive?
Look, I think, from our perspective, we're obviously, it's a different kind of feeling. They had sort of 3 weeks to prepare for 4 weeks to prepare for one game, and in terms of fitness, I don't think we struggled the other night. I don't think they struggled because it's a one-off game. From our perspective, it's more about making sure that the players we have out there feeling fresh. We're obviously in the middle of a really hectic schedule, a lot of games. We've tried to rotate the team as much as possible without affecting performance. And I think that's, from our perspective, when we're looking at the physical parameters coming out of games, we're still pretty strong in games. So that'll be the key for us to make sure that the guys who start, it's not so much about the fitness. And look, with the 5 subs, you can sort of compensate for that a little bit towards the end of games. You can literally change half a team, which should keep sort of energy levels up as much as possible. For us, it's more important about how we start the game, make sure the guys who start the game feel really fresh. They will be, because as you said, they've only had sort of 1 game in the last month, so I'm sure they will be as well. But for us, if we can get an advantage through the fact that we're playing regularly and maybe we have more rhythm and put them under a little bit more pressure, then that might help us. But I don't think it'll be the physical component that'll decide the game in the end.
Celtic won't be training in Bodø Glimt's artificial pitch before the match on Thursday. Was there any particular reason for this, like injury or conditions?
No, I just didn't feel. I mean, we obviously here in Scotland have exposure to artificial pitches. We've already had 2 games this year on an artificial pitch, so there's not a great deal to be gained. For me, those kind of things are all about, every week has a different challenge. Every week has a different. If you're expecting that, after one session you're going to find some miracle on an artificial pitch that you haven't thought out that's going to win you the game, then I think you fall into the wrong trap. I've been involved in football a long time where, especially at national team level, but even in Australia, where you have to deal with extreme climatic conditions, extreme pitch conditions. When I was national team, we were travelling from, cold climates to the Middle East in literally 24 hours, from bumpy pitches to slow pitches. And what I found in the end is that the best approach is to make sure that your players always are prepared to deal with whatever challenges there are, because there's no easy solutions. Us flying there today and having a session on their pitch is going to make absolutely zero difference. Us being here, getting a good training session for the boys, getting them prepared for a difficult game tomorrow is much more important to me.
Sorry, can we just get some team news? Anything changed from the weekend at all?
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, nothing, Gabriel. I think from last week, everyone clean bill of health. So yeah, the same players who were available last week on the weekend are available for this game. No one. Obviously, Ideguchi's not registered for Europa, so for Europe, so he'll drop out.